I have another guest. What I'm doing is going out there talking to business owners who are making use of virtual assistant and outsourcing in their business, so that you can get an insight as to how do they use virtual assistant, how do they outsource tasks in their business, so you can get ideas, hopefully, and implement in your business. And today specifically, I'm talking to Bonnie Bill Resnick from bbrmarketing.com, specifically on what is cloud computing and how exactly she makes use of tools that run on the cloud for her business. So before we get started, Bonnie, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience and let us know a little bit more about your business as well.
Sure. I started my business about a year and a half ago. It's a marketing firm that works specifically with professional services providers. So my clients are accountants, attorneys, consultants, engineers, that type of person, people that are selling a service rather than a product. And I got into this because before this, I was the marketing director for an accounting firm. So I was dealing with a lot of vendors who really didn't understand how to market service firms. So I decided to break off and start one myself.
And how is the marketing of service firms different from marketing of products? I'm just curious.
Well, it's interesting because if you're selling a product, it's something you can touch and feel or taste or experience. Whereas services, a lot of times when you're hiring an attorney, you're basically buying their expertise. And it's a much harder thing to communicate and sell. So where, product samples or advertising works really well for product companies, a lot of times that's not necessarily the best strategy for services, where you really want to develop the relationships to sell those services. So that's kind of one of the many differences in that.
Yes, I guess maybe because with the service, it's not a tangible product you can look and feel and hold, so that it's a different way in which you have to get that message out so that they can really have a feel for what exactly the service can do for them. I guess that's kind of appealing to the benefits or the need that the service meets, as opposed to the features of the service itself.
Exactly. And a lot of times, it's much more effective to use things like case studies and social media and some things that are much more relationship driven than, an example of, oh, this is what a will looks like. Well, people don't care. They want to make sure that they're working with somebody that's reputable, that's talented, and knows what they're doing. So getting that message out there is very important.
Definitely. And just like how we got the viewers interested in the interview by telling them we're going to be talking about specifically cloud computing. Before we even get into that in detail, I was trying to figure out, you sent me an email saying that how you got started and the need to actually go out there looking for people to help you with certain other tasks. How did you get to that point? I always want to know the story behind that.
Well, when I first started my business, I had all the time in the world to work on the business because I didn't have any clients yet. But, so, it seemed like you had, tons and tons of time to, do your blogs, worry about the books and all that sort of thing. But, as the business started to grow, I realized I was spending a lot of time on administrative tasks that were, number one, not billable time for me. Yeah. And two, a lot of this stuff is not my strength. Yes, I can manage my own books, but it may take me 2 hours to do something that somebody that does this all day long can do in half an hour. So I really started thinking about how much, time I was spending on something, time that I could be billing, versus what I could pay somebody to do these services for me, and it just made sense.
Definitely. And I like how you said in the email that you related the whole need, that push to go out there and look for virtual assistants to help you with tasks in your business was like, this is how much I'm making in an hour, and this is how much this task is going to cost me if I found somebody to do it. And that was just that thing that pushed you towards it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when you really break it down to hours and numbers, it made complete sense. So I've taken advantage of not just virtual assistants, but, a virtual bookkeeper and some other people too that help me out with my company.
Definitely. And even besides looking at it from how much you're making, also if you look at it from how much you're losing by not really focusing on what is that thing you're passionate about, the high value activities in your business. By doing the other time consuming stuff, you're actually losing money, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, someone pointed it out to me and used this phrase that I thought was great. It's, what is your highest and best use? And, I have 20 years of marketing experience. I have, a couple months of bookkeeping experience. That is not my highest and best use. I can get out there and, build my company and provide services for my clients with that time rather than taking care of some of these tasks.
Definitely. So let's go into cloud computing. Just for anybody who doesn't know what that is, what is, from your own experience, what is cloud computing in the first place?
I'm probably not the best person to explain it, but only because I'm using it, but not an expert in it. But
definitely, yeah.
Basically, I think of it as generally you think of software living on your computer. It's on your server, you load it on there, you own it, and you update it whenever you need to. Cloud computing is where the information in the program actually lives on the internet. And rather than having it, live on your computer, you have access to that and can access it from wherever you are. If you have an internet connection, you can give others access to that information if you want to. And, you have control over what they can and can't do with it. And it just makes working with others outside of your immediate space so much easier. And the other thing I really like about it is you always have the latest version. You're not constantly worrying about updates and that sort of thing. It's all taken care of behind the scenes, so I don't have to worry about it.
Definitely. So I guess one of the advantages really is that if you want to really live this virtual lifestyle, then some of the things you need to work with daily in your business needs to be accessible to everybody. And with cloud computing now, it doesn't reside on one person's computer specifically, your applications, your data, whatever. No, but it's on the net. And everybody who has access to maybe username and passwords can get into it, and everybody can work from wherever environment they're in, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. And what I love about it too is I use Cloud QuickBooks, and there's somebody that goes in and does my monthly reconciliation for me. Well, QuickBooks actually has it in there so that I can give her an administrative access to it, so she can go in and do things with the actual program, but she can't write checks for me. She can't, make withdrawals from my account or anything like that. So it gives you a level of control so that you're managing what you need to in the way you should.
And you call it, what was the name of the tool again?
QuickBooks.
Okay, so it's a bookkeeping tool, QuickBooks. I know they used to have an application where they would send you a software, but so you see now they have also a version that is live on the internet and on the cloud. And you can basically have the data go in, be entered into the system, and you can pass on that over to maybe your accountant or bookkeeper or anything.
Yes, it's great.
Definitely. And what other tools do you use right now that are on the cloud for your business? I want to cover each of them as much as possible.
Sure. I have found Dropbox to be a wonderful tool. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it's a way where you can share files and store files, again, in the cloud. And, I work, because I'm in marketing, I a lot of times work with some fairly large art files and things that you can't necessarily even email back and forth. But I can very easily create a Dropbox folder for a graphic designer I'm working with, say, and he can upload, logos or art files or designs that I need to look at. I can then go in there and take a look at them very easily and make whatever adjustments I need to and then resave it to that. So we're working off the same file. So things don't get confused with version 4 and version 5, those kind of things. It's fraught with problems. But I found that to be very useful, not only in my business, but I do a lot of volunteer work as well, and I'm on a couple of boards. And, when we're planning, I'm planning an expo with one in January, and it's a beautiful way for us to share files and information, and everybody has access to the same thing. But yet only those that you want to have access to it. There's security measures involved so that not just anybody can go in and look at the information. I've also used Google Docs somewhat, where, that's basically, there's Excel, Word, I think there's PowerPoint. But, you can create a file through Google Docs that you can then share with others that can go in and edit it. And it's pretty cool because if I'm the creator, I get an email when somebody's gone in there and made adjustments. So I can, okay, I know somebody's been in there with the file and made some changes. I may need to go in and take a look at it. So I found both of those to be great tools.
Definitely. Even with Google Docs itself, just so anybody to understand this really is, imagine your Microsoft Word that you have to buy a software online, buy a software when you come, these days they get a computer, it doesn't have anything in it, you have to now buy the software. But with Google Docs, it's a free, application suite that has, the same kind of software you can use for PowerPoint, the same kind of software you can use for Excel and Word. Everything is live on the internet. And even what I found that I liked about it was, besides the collaboration where someone does something, they will send you an email and let you know, you can be live on it. I don't know if you've noticed it, but you can actually be live on it while the person is making the changes and doing the work, and you can see that they're making changes live in front of you.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I've not been.
I actually found that out recently. I mean, someone was exchanging a document with me, and was making some edits, and I was reviewing the document, and I was seeing the change happen. I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" Before it used to be like the email back and forth when they make a change, you get. But now I don't know about it, what they did to it, but it basically made the technology a lot even better, I think.
Yeah. And I think...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think a lot of times what you hear in a lot of the articles you see out there are around security. But from everything that I've read personally, and I did research before I started, going this way with my company, the security that's in place is really very strong. And, I feel completely comfortable with... I mean, somebody can hack into my computer any day, too. So I think, certainly the security measures are in place to make it, a safe method for running your company.
Definitely. I mean, that's going to be an issue for a lot of people, trying to, get involved with this whole cloud computing and having that virtual, environment where they work from. And I'm sure you also had that issue as well. I mean, talk to me as to how you, got past that challenge. I mean, what is the security issues that you might know, or even any other issues that you might have had when you started this whole movement towards making use of cloud computing tools? What other issues did you have with that?
I didn't have a whole lot of issues with it. I again did my research to find out, okay, is this really secure? I don't necessarily want to be working on client files and upload them somewhere and then anybody can get to them by any means, but everything I read and have found through using it, it's been a very safe way to work. I think the other thing that is a bit of an objection by some people is, like say with QuickBooks, for example, I think I pay $25 a month.
Yeah.
I can buy the software for, a few $100. So over time, I'm actually paying more for the software, because I would spend, if I do it month by month by month, over time, I'm spending more money. But I like the fact that the flexibility it gives me, and also knowing that I have the latest version of everything on there, makes it worthwhile to me.
And I think the 2 points with that too really is, first of all, you raise the point of paying that recurring income to them, over time will make the costs higher than if you just bought the software. But if you're looking at it from a point of scaling your business, and if you now have to buy that software for every different computer that, for instance, if they're working for you in the office, it's going to even be expensive. So if the person who's trying to think about that point has to look at it relative to what the situation really is. If you want your people to work for you from your office, you're still going to have to buy that software for many computers. But in this case now, you don't have to buy that software. It's virtual, and you're paying a recurring fee. And I guess you're just basically giving that person access to your data, and they can go in there regardless and just get the work done as well.
Yes, no, absolutely. Because I'm now working with a virtual assistant who we take advantage of these things all the time. She's even doing some basic copywriting for me and things like that. So being able to, trade files back and forth and actually avoid trading files back and forth, work from the same file has been really valuable. It saves me not only some money, but it also saves me a whole lot of time in figuring out, okay, what's the latest version of this? Was it saved right? What was changed? I know that I'm working from one file, so it works out really well.
And also, I think one thing that people don't really think about with cloud computing, what the benefits are, if it was a regular software, they have to send you updates, and you have, or maybe you have to buy a whole new CD when there's a new update. But because it's via the internet, on their servers, on the internet, wherever, all they gotta do is push up the uploads of the latest releases to it, and basically you, because you're using it on the computer on your end, you always gonna get that benefit of the new release. And so any kind of bugs and issues that the software might have, you instantly get that that update to it.
Yes, and I don't have to worry about making the update on my computer, which I get the little messages like, okay, you've got software updates, and I'm like, oh, I got to close everything down and do that. I'm glad somebody else is taking care of that. I'm not the best about it.
Definitely. And let's see, what other tools do you use again, cloud-based tools for your business?
I would say those are probably the big ones. QuickBooks, Google Docs, Dropbox all the time. There's others out there that, certainly I think others get use out of, but those are the primary ones that I'm using right now.
Definitely. And so let's look at from the perspective of you having a virtual assistant and you are in a marketing-based business. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do the two merge? Like, how do they help you in your business specifically?
It just makes it easier for us to communicate and for us to work together. Like I said, we're able to upload files to Dropbox rather than emailing them back and forth. So we're working off of one file, and it's a whole lot easier that way. I can give my bookkeeper access to my QuickBooks, so she can go in the middle of the night and make changes, and do monthly reconciliation if she wants to. I don't have to worry about, giving her access or passwords or anything like that. She has the access that I want her to have, and she can go in and do it whenever she wants to. It's just, to me, it makes that collaborating with other outside people a whole lot easier. I mean, officially, I'm a one-person company. Yeah. I work with lots of vendors and, have graphic designers and copywriters and, web developers and people that I bring in as needed. But, by having all these tools, it makes me feel like, we're a company of 10 rather than a company of 1. And
that's a good point you made, because I keep hearing people saying how the internet has leveled the playing field and now you can compete with the big guys. But this really makes that point valid, is that with all these tools that you have available and new ones keep coming out every day, it's just trying to keep level head and figure out which ones are the best tools for me. You might get overwhelmed, but if you take that time and do that research that is needed like you did, you find the right tools that can help you in specific parts of your business, and you can still be that one person business, but the output and results you deliver to your client might look like it is, big, giant company that's doing all this work.
That's right. We compete with some of the bigger boys out there. It's great.
Definitely. And I also want to find out now, not specifically about cloud computing, just kind of to give the viewers an idea of, you're in a marketing-based business and you have virtual assistant. Like, what specifically, as it relates to marketing, do you have your virtual assistants help you with? I'm just curious.
Well, she does a lot of things for me. Oddly enough, she actually is a former assistant of mine from a previous job.
Okay.
And she started her virtual assistant company recently and approached me about this. And she does everything from, pretty detailed stuff like writing web copy. She's written some bios and done some of that stuff for me, where she'll create the first draft and then I can go in and make it client ready. She keeps up my CRM system. So when I go to, a networking event and come back with 12 business cards, I can scan those in, send them to her, and she makes sure that they're in my actually cloud CRM system called Batchbook.
Oh, Batchbook, okay. Yeah, just so the audience know what CRM is, that's like a database where you put in all your contacts and information and kind of, what kind of conversations you have with them. You put that in this customer relationship management tool.
Right. And this one, I have to say, I have to give a little plug for Batchbook, because I love one of the features it has is whenever I send an email, like if I were emailing you, I could blind copy a Batchbook address that they gave me. And then when I go in and look at your record later, it's going to have every single one of those emails in there that we've ever sent back and forth to each other. So, it's a great way to keep track of your business development efforts or client projects that are going on. So yeah, she uploads all the information into there for me. She's even recently done some I've done holiday cards for a couple of my clients, and she's taking care of the fulfillment of that for me. So she stuffed the envelopes and put the stamps on and made the address labels and everything. And, she was able to do that for a much lower rate than the printer wanted to charge for the same thing. And, she probably was more conscientious even in the end. So, I mean, I'm very fortunate in that I work with somebody that I know is my virtual assistant. So, I can go to her with just about any project. And if it's something that she can do, then she's usually game for it.
Definitely. And on the point of the CRM, just so people can even get more insight on that too, is because now you're having all that ability to, whenever you communicate with them via email, for instance, you can have batch book, have a record of what you're saying. At any point in time where you want to, work, basically you have this lead that comes into your business, and you have to take that process to work them down the pipeline to where they become a client. So that because you're keeping track of the conversation, at any point when you talk to them, you know exactly where that conversation stopped. You have insight that you have been, gathering all this time, and that's why a CRM like you using is very good to have. And I'm also curious as to, do you know that there's ways in which, like, there is a tool that's on the internet. I think it's not really a tool, it's more of a service, but they're online based, that you can also use to send out your cards and all that, so that the VA doesn't necessarily have to do the actual stuffing. I think it's called sendoutcards.com, I think.
Yeah, I've heard of them. These were custom cards.
Okay.
So, custom design cards, so that wasn't going to work for that process. But I have actually gotten a few of those from other people. So I tell you, there's all kinds of people out there coming up with services to make our lives easier and hopefully give us more time to do what we really want to do.
Wondering if they make a service that I don't have to do anything.
Hey, if I can find some way that I can get my house clean, walk the dog, all those kind of things. It's those sort of things that are hard to find.
Definitely, I really appreciate you taking the time to just give the audience the primer as to what cloud computing can do for them, because we all have this mentality. We have, especially when you're starting out, we have to do everything ourselves. I don't know where that comes from, but taking this time to actually share with the audience, cloud computing and how you're using them in your business, I guess can give them that encouragement to start. And just in case anybody who had, who might be in the same shoes that you were, in the past, trying to do this in their business, what is that thing that you want to leave with them as to, moving forward that would, get them started?
I would say, being one of those people that was kind of a control freak when I started and I had to do everything myself, give that up. Completely just let go of that as early in the process as you can, and find people to help you that are good at what they do, and they may be not things that you're good at, and bring them in, on a part-time basis, virtual basis, however you need to, so that you can really focus on the services or products that you offer and growing your company. And I think most of the other stuff, is probably distracting you from your core competencies. So find good people. Definitely do your due diligence and make sure that they're people that you can trust and that you enjoy working with. But jump on that as quickly as you can.
Thank you very much. And before I let you go, I know there are a lot of people in the audience who are, service providers, and like you do, you help people who, have services, and they need to get the word out about their business. So how best can they get a hold of you?
They can't. My website is bbrmarketing.com, or you can feel free to email me. It's Bonnie, BONNIE, at bbrmarketing.com. I'd love to share information with anybody.
Definitely. Are you on Facebook or Twitter that they can also?
I am on Twitter, also bbrmarketing.com, and on LinkedIn. So you can just do a search for my name.
Thank
Bonnie
you very much. Bonnie, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on this show and talk about cloud computing. It's been wonderful. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I've had a great time.
Thank you. So we're done.
So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really want to know what exactly you think. I mean, if I suck and if I'm not doing a good job, I want to know, because by your input and your comments, your suggestions, your feedback, that's how I'm going to improve on the entire package of what I'm sharing with you. I really want to improve so that you know that your time is well spent when you watch my videos. And if I do good on interviews, and if you like certain things I do, please let me know so I can even improve upon that as well. And I want to thank you really because your time is well spent, and I mean, your time is, you know, important to me, and I want to make sure that I continuously put this information in front of you. So I want you to join my community, and in order to do that, you need to click on the link that says get the free ebook, enter in your name and email, and you will receive as a gift from me my free ebook titled The Entrepreneur's Guide to Running a Business in the Cloud. The reason I do that is because I want to share with you that information. You know, you can check it out and make use of it in your business. In the same vein, I will be sending you email updates every time I have new blog posts, as well as if I have, you know, new stuff that is not even on the blog, I want to share with you. That way we can stay in contact. One more thing. Before you go, I want to also let you know that if you are really serious about finding, hiring, training, and even working with virtual assistant, if right now you want to get that started, why don't you sign up for my free webinar where I share everything about the entire process? And you can get to do that by clicking on the link on the very top of my blog where it says sign up for the free webinar. Again, thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you next time.